One thing I will never understand in this industry is why everyone bashes the Smith machine so much. It's just like a weird overreaction to me. So you'll hear coaches bash unstable surface training. They will rightfully point out that if you're trying to produce force, you need a stable environment. You know, popular saying in our industry is, you can't shoot a cannon out of a canoe. So unstable training over here is bad. So more stable is better, but up until a point, because if you go too stable, like with a Smith machine, that's also bad. So free weights are in the middle, they're perfect, but unstable is bad and too stable is bad. Could it be that stable training, like really stable, like a Smith machine, is even better for certain situations?
Anyone?
I'm a biomechanics geek and I'm an aficionado of strength training. So I love every exercise. I'm just a big fan of movements, bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, Olympic weightlifting, CrossFit. Like I like every strength sport, strong lifting. I like every movement. I love every exercise. A good carpenter is gonna have a big tool belt. Yes, you're gonna use your hammer and your screwdriver a lot more than you use some specialty tool, but you will use that specialty tool from time to time. When you train a lot of people and when you train yourself year-round, you're gonna need that specialty tool a lot. So the bigger your arsenal, the better off you'll be. And while I'm a huge fan of free weights, I also like the Smith machine. Several years ago, I did a little experiment. I wanted to see if I could maintain my squat strength by just doing Smith machine squats for like 4 weeks or 6 weeks. So yeah, all I did was tons of Smith machine squats, but I did it uniquely. I didn't put my feet in front of the bar like you see people do and stay very upright and do like hack squats. I actually put my feet right under the bar, just like you do in a normal squat, and I made my form very similar to my regular back squat. But the Smith machine allowed me to stay more upright and not shoot my hips up as much. And I think it worked my quads a little extra, because when I went back to the free weight squat, I did feel uncoordinated, but I set a PR. Like I PR'd from doing Smith machine squats. So yes, I've seen the research that shows decreased muscle activity, but the experiments I've done with Smith machine showed the same muscle activity, and in some cases greater activity. Same with the plate-loaded lever machines. So it could be that in these cases where there's a discrepancy in the literature, the researchers don't quite know how to position the lifter optimally to maximize muscle activation. Nevertheless, I do like free weights more than the Smith machine and plate-loaded machines, but that doesn't mean that machines aren't still awesome. You know, I have so many clients that prefer to do lunges off the Smith machine. What's wrong with that? Hip thrusts off the Smith machine. Why wouldn't you let them? Trainers this day and age will be like, well, those aren't functional. Trust me, your client does not care if something's functional or not. If someone trains with you and they don't become more functional, you're a pretty bad trainer. I mean, even if you have them doing all Smith machine exercises, they're gonna become more functional. But they didn't come to you to be more functional. Most of them come to you wanting to look better. And to help somebody look better, in my opinion, you would wanna use a lot of different tools, you know, barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, bands, machines. So I do love my machines, and I especially like them for glute training. I think the Smith machine is awesome for glute training. I have an angled Smith machine in Glute Lab San Diego, and I have a vertical Smith machine in Glute Lab Las Vegas. So there are a lot of great glute exercises that you can indeed do off the Smith machine, and I filmed 30 of them. So for this video, we're gonna roll through all 30 exercises, and I'll just do a voiceover. All right, first I wanna show you how I lock the bar in place just using a simple band. Now, first up, we've got the lying leg press. This replaces like a vertical leg press machine. Now we've got the deficit stiff-legged deadlift. Staying on a block there to increase the range of motion and increase the stretch on the hamstrings. Okay, next up, we have the good morning. And notice with this, because of the angled Smith machine, she can just keep sitting back further and further, so her shin angle becomes negative. It's more of an angle than vertical. Now we've got the B stance RDL. Remember, with B stance, you want 70% load on that front foot, 30% on the back foot. All right, followed up by the single leg stiff-legged deadlift. She lets the bar drift out in front slightly. This is actually really challenging, but this is a huge stretch on that hamstring. All right, now we've got the frog kick. All right, say what you want, looks weird, but some women love this exercise. You've got to have that bar locked into place if you do this though. All right, followed by the quadruped hip extension. You're on all fours. Look at that range though. she's kicking tall there. Again, you gotta have that bar locked into place to do these. And then this is the side lying hip raise. This is hard enough to do with body weight. Adding extra load makes it brutal. And see how she's on a pad? That gives her even more range of motion. All right, now we've got the box squat. What I like about this is that it teaches you how to really spread your legs and start from a dead stop at the bottom. All right, followed up by the sumo deadlift. What I like about this is kind of like a block pull or a rack pull. You don't go quite as deep, so you can use heavier load. All right, now my favorite, the hip thrust. I do these all the time. These are one of my favorite, and I like the angled Smith machines best for these. Next up, we've got the B stance hip thrust. On this one, you want 70% of the load on the left foot, the back foot, and 30% on the front foot. Next up, the single leg hip thrust. This is really hard with a plate on each side. You can kind of see Ashley heaving. It might be a little too heavy there. All right, now we've got the dual elevated hip thrust with both the shoulders and feet elevated. This works the hamstrings more, and it's more hip range of motion from the hips. These are surprisingly challenging. All right, now we've got the glute bridge, and this is with a narrow stance glute bridge. You just need a bench. Followed by the Smith machine frog pump. These are a staple. We do these all the time. Notice the heels are together, but not the front of the feet. And we do these for very high reps. All right, next up is the wide stance glute bridge. We put 2 benches of equal height. This allows for a wide stance, and some people love this one. All right, now we've got the single leg glute bridge. Again, this is like a lot more challenging than it looks. You need good hamstring flexibility to even do that. And then here we've got a frog pump variation, the frog thrust, and these work really well. And if you've got an incline bench, it works wonders. All right, now we've got the squat. And what I like about this squat is with the angled machine, it keeps you very upright. See at the bottom how upright she is? Forces more work onto the quads. And then next up, we've got the front squat, which is brutal. Using a plate on each side is really hard if you go deep. And again, keeps you nice and upright. Okay, now we've got the B stance squat. This one I like because it's nice and stable, and you try and keep 70% of the load on the front foot, 30% on the rear foot. All right, followed up by the kneeling squat. And I like doing these off a Smith machine compared to a barbell. But some people love those. They get surprisingly high glute activity. All right, followed up by the reverse lunge. In this one, she's leaning a lot to increase the hip and decrease the knee efforts. All right, followed by the front reverse lunge. And this, I like the front reverse lunge. It keeps you even more honest, making you work the legs harder. All right, now we've got a curtsy lunge. This increases the stretch on that rear glute. I like to do those alternating. All right, now we've got the leaning lunge. You use a pad, lean into it. I don't particularly like these very much, but some of my clients do. You're working the outer leg on those. All right, you've got a step up, and this one I like because some people fail the squat at the top half. Notice this isn't a lot of range of motion, so it strengthens the top half of that. In contrast, here's the ZERCHER deficit reverse lunge from a really tall bench. Look how deep she goes. Look how much stretch she gets on the glute. And that ZERCHER position keeps you nice and upright. These are surprisingly effective. Give those a try. And finally, we've got the Bulgarian split squat. She has got laces down on that, on the back foot. And these are amazing for the legs and glutes. So now you've seen the 30 exercises. I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you learned something new. I hope this gave you some new ideas in your training. And I hope it opened your mind to the Smith machine being pretty darn awesome. It's okay to like the barbell and the Smith machine. It's not like you have to choose. The Smith machine isn't gonna be mad if you like the barbell, and the barbell won't be mad if you like the Smith machine. You can like them both. Personally, I prefer doing Smith machine hip thrusts and Smith machine lunges over their barbell counterparts. Most of my clients prefer the barbell, but that's just me. So give some of these movements a try and let me know what you think in the comments section. If you like what you saw, please hit like, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and leave me a comment on what you'd like to see next. I'm always looking for new ideas. Thank you for tuning in. I've got a lot of exciting stuff for 2021. We've just gotten started. Now, if this video intrigued you and you would like to train under my system using my principles, then I invite you to click on the link below and subscribe to Booty by Brett and join the thousands of other happy members who are seeing amazing results.